2, 1. Hey, Lorraine.
Hey, Deborah.
Thank you for joining me today.
No, you're welcome.
For all of you that I'd like to introduce Lorraine Beato. Now, Lorraine is from Atlanta, Georgia, and she is an agent and investor. And I know that there's a lot of agents out there that have been doing transaction after transaction after transaction, watching investors make money, right? And they wonder, like, how do I do that? How do I get involved in that? And Lorraine has been successful at making that transition. And I think you still both wear both hats, right? You're still sometimes just an agent and still sometimes just an investor. I say just like it's a little thing, but it's not. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would like to know how you did that. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I've actually been a licensed agent for coming up on 30 years, but I didn't always do sales. I started on the mortgage trading floor, and then I was an appraiser. And when we got transferred to Atlanta, I thought I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That lasted all of 45 days. And I was going stir crazy. So there was reciprocity, and I had my license transferred down to Atlanta, and that's when I started on the sales side of things. Fast forward to the last couple of years, I was having investors reach out to me. We had done a boot camp with one of the gurus, and I started having investors reach out to me that wanted to invest in Atlanta. We had only done one deal, but I've got such a comprehensive background that I was telling people what they should and shouldn't do when they started to invest, and where to put their money, how to run their comps and all that. And after helping my clients make money, I said, well, wait a minute, I should be doing this.
Right. I think that's the thing with agents. Like, they start seeing the investors that they're helping make money, and they're like, hold on, maybe I'm at the wrong end of this.
And it's really a mental shift. I spoke at a panel on my office last week that, my broker had me speak there. Kevin Palmer is the owner of Palmer House. And, he brought up that I work with a lot of investors. And after I got done speaking on the panel, I had 3 real estate agents come up to me, and they said, great, Lorraine, I want to work with more real estate investors. And I looked at all 3 of them and I said, no, you need to become the investor.
Right.
And they kind of looked a little bit perplexed. And so it's shifting that mindset, which is where it starts. And then I actually invited them to WREN, and they came to the meeting 2 days later.
Oh, wonderful. That's fabulous. So for those of you that don't know, Lorraine is the chapter leader for our Atlanta chapter in WREN. And by the way, our Atlanta chapter is our newest chapter. It's our first venture on the East Coast. We're super excited to be open in Atlanta. It's a pretty hot market. I mean, let's face it, Atlanta's booming right now. There's a lot of people going into that market that are looking to invest for long-term as well as to do short-term flips. Is that what you're finding?
Yeah, there's a lot. And the challenge is there's a lot of new investors. I just had 3 Facebook conversations yesterday with 3 new investors that were referred to me. And it's a very hot market. Things are selling very quickly, but it's also very challenging to find deals that make sense,
right,
because it's so hot. We have a lot of hedge funds that are buying at 80 cents on the dollar. We have a lot of the iBuyers that are paying full retail price. And so you just have to do some digging.
Okay, so that's just like a plug. Do your numbers. People do
Yes.
know how to run numbers. That's what you need to know. You need to know how to run numbers. And one of the things that it happens at Ignite. Now, I want to talk about Ignite a little bit, because this is Lorraine's first Ignite. So she's only been with us for a few months. And so she's coming out to the first Ignite. And, that's one of the things. We got a lot of feedback from last year's Ignite. Our last year's Ignite was only 1 day. So this year's Ignite is a 2-day. And it's a 2-day because our ladies were like, we want to know some more meat and potatoes. We want to know how to run numbers. We want to know how other people run numbers. We want to have those types of discussions to find out, what banks are looking at to finance you, what hard money is looking at to finance you, how to up my game. If I'm a small time flipper and I want to do more business, how do I get that kind of financing, right? What's the best way to do that? And Ignite is going to answer your questions. Not only will they answer your questions, but it'll be women. It'll be women who are doing all of this. And I think, the women environment is such a collaborative, creative environment. It's like there's a sincerity in all of us wanting to help each other.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, I had a really good turnout last week at the meeting, and these new agents that came, and I had two of them reach out. One's a good friend of mine, and I had two others reach out to me like, I am so excited to have found a group of women to support each other. And it said, the energy is just incredible. The support is incredible. And I actually had one of the gals who's been coming since we started in September, who then reached out to me because she's looking at 14 single families in a subdivision as a rental portfolio.
Wow.
And the guy said he's willing to do it subject to. Now, of course, we've done some digging, and that's not necessarily the case. But we're there to help and support each other.
Right. And that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point. Everybody has said, real estate is a team sport. And it really is. Like, you've got to have, different people to be able to fly different ideas off of. If you get into a situation which you don't know how to take care of, you've got to be able to pick up the phone and call some people who are going to give you resources for that. And I think that, whether you're involved with WREN or some other organization, get involved, right? You got to get involved to be able to do this business. One of the things that I found great about you, Lorraine, is that you have such a passion for agents and educating them in the investor mindset. And I know that you're writing a book.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
It's actually about 90% complete.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. Now it's working on getting it formatted and maybe adding some graphics and things like that. But yeah, it's called Flip the Switch. It has to start, like I said, with the mindset that rather than wanting to work with investors, and that's great. Don't get me wrong. That's just an added, plus for your business, but also learning to invest for yourself. I mean, what really pushed me over the edge was last summer when I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and she hasn't planned for retirement. And this one is someone who's done really, really well in the real estate space. She's turning 60 and she's like, oh my gosh, like I have to sell real estate for the rest of my life. And there's nobody out there that I have found advocating for real estate agents to get them to stop and think, what am I going to do? And why not invest in the product that you sell every single day? Right. So yeah, it's called Flip the Switch, and I'm super excited. I've sent it to two colleagues to look at it, and they called me up and they said, oh my God, you've got me thinking. And I said, perfect. I said it did exactly what I wanted to do. So I'm busting at the seams. I can't wait for it to come out.
That's great. I dictate that. I don't dictate. I talk to women about, the types of money that they want. I don't know. I went through a change of life. People go through divorces and accident. Mine happened to be a health accident. And after that, I was like, I need cash, right? So I need to work for money, and I want that long-term passive income. I want that mailbox money. I want my money out there working for me, right? But I think those are two different types of money. You have to look at the type of money that you're getting into. Is it transactional? Like that's what you're just talking about. As a real estate agent, you're making transaction after transaction after transaction. I happen to be a flipper. I got to flip, make a chunk of money, go to my next deal, make a chunk of money, right? And then I was like, wait a second, I need to hold some so that I can, foster long-term wealth, so that I can have mailbox money. It's a whole different kind of money. Now, don't get me wrong. I like chunk money because I like my shoes. but mailbox money is like, it's golden, right? It's what I'm doing chunk for, and exactly. I think that for agents, you guys are looking at properties all day long, right? You guys are on the forefront, cherry pick, decide what you're going to work on, and like Lorraine said, flip the switch.
And I think that's the other thing. I had an agent last year who referred a client to me. She didn't know what to do with them. She thought that they were a short sale. And I'm like, well, they're not a short sale. This is crazy. And so I went in and I talked to them. They were ready to just walk away. They just wanted to walk away from the property. They were in pre-foreclosure. Right. And unfortunately, the numbers didn't work, but they were okay with me catching up the loan and doing a subject to. Now, unfortunately, was a big HOA lien, and I couldn't make the numbers work.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a potential opportunity where I just talked to the seller, and then we wound up putting it on the market. But most real estate agents, they don't know how to think that way.
Right. It's an education. And so
Exactly.
if you want to get educated, get to WREN and get some people that know how to work the numbers, get some people that you can talk to about all of that. So WREN is April 4th and 5th in Los Angeles, California. Can't wait for you to come out. Have you been to California before?
I went in San Francisco, let's see, my 30th wedding anniversary is coming up. So 30 years ago, we were in San Francisco, and I can't wait. And I know I've shared this. So Sunday's my birthday. The last day of WREN is my birthday. So I'm excited because I said 2020 is my year. 25 years of raising kids. 2020 is my year.
I hear you, girl. I hear you. All right. So we can't wait to celebrate your birthday at WREN as well. So anybody that's out there listening, join us at WREN. Come out, get educated, be inspired by all these women who are doing all kinds of real estate. Thank you so much for taking time, Lorraine.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.